Children, again we'll see about the blood cells today. Now see here ma, the blood cells are divided into red blood cells, white blood cells, or and other one is thrombocytes. Red blood cells are RBC, erythrocytes, white blood cells leukocytes, and the blood platelets are called as thrombocytes. So here the red blood cells are, first we'll see about the red blood cells and white blood cells. They are spherical or biconcave. So they are red in color. The blood is red in color due to the presence of the red blood cells in our body, and they are more than 5 to 6 millions in count in our body. So if there are the number of the blood cells in count is less in our body, then we feel anemic and they suffer from anemia. Next, white blood cells, they are divided into granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes, the name itself tells us that the grains like structures are present inside the cell. So grains which are absent, they are called as agranulocytes or non-granulocytes. So the granules, so if you see the structure of the granulocyte cell structures, again they are divided into three types. One is basophils, neutrophils and eosinophils. In basophils, if you see the nucleus is present, it's bilobed or it's trilobed or bilobed, and here it's constricted. The nucleus is constricted. It contains the cytoplasm and the cytoplasmic granules also present inside it. So the basophils especially, they produce a heparin, a protein which is a anticoagulant. So it helps to coagulation of the blood. And next, coming to the neutrophils, the nucleus is multi-lobed. Here multi-lobe nuclear structure we can see, and it contains the cytoplasmic granules inside it, and these are the parts that are present inside the cell, and whereas 60% of the cell contains the neutrophils. If it dies and again they increase in number, they form the number continuously. More than the blood contains 60% of the neutrophil count in our body. Next, going to the eosinophil count. It's about 3% in our body, and it produces the allergic responses in our body. Normally it's bilobed or trilobed sometimes too. It contains the cytoplasmic granules inside it. So when we go to the agranules, so the agranulocytes, the nucleus is large inside without any granules. They do not contain any granules. The nucleus is large. They are divided into two again, monocytes and lymphocytes. Monocytes and lymphocytes. So the nucleus is not constricted as it is constricted in the granulocytes. So the smallest, it's all smallest cell in WBC present in our body produces antibodies. These agranulocytes, they produces the antibodies. So the white blood cells generally produces the antibodies to our body and protect our body from the disease causing germs. So this is about the blood cells. From this we can understand that the cells are in different shapes, and also they vary in different sizes also. The size also differ. So if you see a large elephant to a human being also, there is a lot of difference in the formation of the cells in its body and also the size of the cells in its body. And every cell in a body is of different size and shape. If we consider the different cells in our body like kidneys and the livers, so how it differs, we'll see now. The size of the cell is as small as the millionth of a meter. So we can see that the smallest cell, the cells of a bacteria which cannot be seen, to the largest cell of the egg of ostrich we can measure, that is that which can be seen. There are the cells which cannot be seen with the naked eyes, and that too which can be seen with our eyes too. So as small as the millionth of a meter, that is a microns, it can be of the size, and as large as few centimeters to like the top of the ostrich egg. So if you see the smallest cell of bacteria, it ranges from 0.1 to 0.5 micrometers, and if it is of the human liver or kidney, it ranges from 20 to 30 micrometers, and human nerve cell, it ranges to 90 to 100 centimeters, and the largest cell, that is the ostrich egg. It ranges to 17 centimeters to 18 centimeters, which is nearly of 306 square centimeters it ranges. So we can see that the size of the cell, it mainly related to its function. That is, it depends upon the size of the cell depends upon the number of the cells in an organism, but not the number of the the number of the cells in an organism, but not the size of the organism, we can say. Okay, children, we'll see now the factors on which the shape and size of the cell depend upon. So see here, children, the factors on which the shape of the cell depend upon. The shape of the cell depends upon mainly of its function, and the shape of the cells, the surrounding cell it is in, and also the substances of the cell and the location where the cell is present. So the shape, whether it is present in the brain or kidney or liver, where it is present, if it is in a human cell, liver cell, so the location where the cell is present, the shape is, its shape depends on its particular location or the function. Mainly it depends upon the function of what it performs. So we can say that it is related to mainly functions. If the cell, the human nerve cell, its shape is in such a manner to to transfer the messages to the different organs of the body. So the shape is elongated structure. The RBCs are round or biconcave to rotate in the blood. So its shape is so to have to do its function, or that is to rotate in the blood. So in such a manner, the function, it mainly the shape of the cell depends on its function or the substances that are present in the cell or the location where it is. Okay, children. So that's about the shape and size of the cell. For this completes the lesson, the cell, the basic unit of life. Okay, children. Now write down the questions. On what factors the cell depend on what factors the size and shape of cell depend upon. Second question, who discovered the cell for the first time? Next, the third question, it represents distinguish between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Okay, children, complete it and bring for the next class. Bye.